my favorite form of entertainment by far is NFL football. Thank you. Thank you. One godly person in this crew. So I love all sports. Like, I love watching some basketball, cheer for the Cavs. I love, especially live, watching some baseball. I love hockey. NFL football, number one, all pale in comparison. I love college football, pales in comparison to my love for NFL football. And so May 15th, about a week and a half ago, is a pretty big day around our household. It's the NFL release for the schedule. And that's pretty festive at my house, pretty big deal. Like, every little moment in the NFL schedule is a big deal. So they released the calendar, the schedule for the year, and you already know before the schedule is released who your team is playing and all their opponents, even where they're playing, but you don't know the exact dates and times until the schedule comes out, which was May 15th. So my favorite team I grew up cheering for is the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers. And yes, thank you. And can the ushers please escort out the lady who said Steelers? I don't know who's going to hell in here, but I heard that. And so, so I'm a huge 49er fan since I was a little kid. And so one of the things coming up on the schedule is I knew they were going to play at Buffalo, and I wanted to know what day and time. Because Buffalo's a 2-hour, 50-minute drive, and I haven't seen the Niners play in a while. And I was like, oh, I want to go to the Buffalo game so bad. Please let it be like a fortuitous time for me. So I was like, if it's a 1 p.m. game on a Sunday, I'm probably out. Okay, unless I schedule myself off not preaching, I'm probably out if it's a 1 p.m. game. If it's 4 p.m., ooh, that gets interesting. Okay, I might be able to make it. We could snag lunch on the road. Boom, get there. Schedule came out May 15th. It's a Sunday night game, y'all. I got all kinds of time. I might go home, eat lunch, take a little nap. Then we head and drive, hit some rest stops on the way. Whatever we want, grab dinner on the road, watch the game, me, Shannon, and Journey, fist fight a couple Buffalo fans, then get a hotel and head. I mean, that's inevitable, you know, like if you're a visitor in another stadium, so someone's going to jump you. And so I just was like, Sunday Night Football, and it's 2 days after my birthday, November 29th, and it's on December 1st. It's like, this is so perfect. So it works out perfectly. I can shape my schedule around it. This is incredible. Now, it's not a terrible thing if I want to sometimes shape my schedule around something like, hey, I want to go see this football game. You know, buying some tickets, splurging on that is great. But the truth is, and I'm just being honest with you, okay? The truth is, I love NFL football so much, I could shape a lot of my life around the NFL schedule. Like, to not miss any games, because I love football that much. I'm not joking with you at all. I love football that much. I could skip my Monday night Mo group, my small group community from the church here, meets on Monday night. I could skip that whenever the Niners play Monday Night Football, easy, and justify it. Like, hey, guys, you just knocked that out without me. That'll be great. There's a class that I teach at Momentum Quarterly called Momentum 101. It's always 4 to 8 p.m. on a Sunday. And that's almost always there's a Niner game during it. And so I could easily be like, let's reschedule that. Who cares about newcomers at Momentum? You know, they'll figure it out as they go. But no, we record it, and then we don't look on social media. We go home and we start the game that usually is like 4:15. We started at like 9 p.m., watch it into the night, like with no spoilers. Everybody turn social media off, that thing. And so, you know, I could turn down opportunities to speak out of town, like somebody else pouring to those men or students, because that conflicts with the 49ers schedule. I could definitely do it. My kids, most of their music concerts in school have been Thursday nights, okay? And Thursday night football is a thing now, people, you know? And I could just be like, hey, I can miss one concert. 49ers don't play Thursday night football that often. They can get counseling when they get older, and I'll miss their one. It's fine. It's not that expensive, therapy isn't. And in fact, no joke, when we just moved to Twinsburg last fall in September, a couple months later, an Amazon truck got stuck in the snow in our driveway, and I mean stuck. He got off the driveway somehow. I don't even know how that happened. And he's just sitting there, spinning, and Shannon's like, why you were napping after church? An Amazon guy, and he's been out there a while. He might be freezing to death. You want to go take him something? Okay, luckily the Niners weren't on, I was just watching football, but it could have conflicted with me wanting to help this dude and caring if he was freezing to death out there. Like, can you just go invite him inside, see if he's warm? Like, sure, the Niners aren't on. It was easy. Had the Niners been on, oh Lord, would I have passed the test that day? I'm like, oh, but it conflicts like with everything. I could let it. I love football that much. So here's the deal, and I'm being totally truthful. I really have to be careful not to let NFL football become an idol for me. Like, I can't let it control everything in my life and give up really important things to make sure I don't miss this way less important thing. It can become an idol or false god in my life. So in the first century, a Christian named Paul was writing to Christians in Rome, and he said this. This is a reprise of a few weeks ago, a message we had, at least this verse is. And he said this in Romans chapter 12, verse 1. He said, I urge you, brothers and sisters, so he's speaking to other followers of Jesus, Christians, in view of God's mercy, because God has been so forgiving and he's given us so much grace to people who have been forgiven by Jesus, put their faith in Jesus. Offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. So we talked about how really worship isn't just singing songs to God. That's just a form of worship through song, through music. And really, it's being a living sacrifice, lifestyle worship. I give my life to God, and I try to use my life to serve him. That's my true and proper worship. So this is fun, a little word study on the English word worship. It comes from the Old English word that basically is worth shape. That's the English of this Old English word worship. It's basically worth-ship. It's to be shaped by the worth of something. Now, I want you to like tease this with me a little bit. That's what worship is, to look at something and to say, that is so valuable. If I have that, then I mean something. If I have that, then I'm worth something. If I have that thing, okay? So you're being shaped by the worth of something. That's what worth shape is. That's what worship is. And so if you say, man, if I could just achieve that, then I'd be worth something. That is the thing that you see such worth in, that you let it shape your life, and that's worth-ship. And so that thing is basically your God. And no matter how we buck against it, every one of us have that thing. Whether it's Jesus, whether it's something else, we all have something that's in that centerpiece of our life that we worth-shape, that we worship. Everyone's got. So, I mean, how many of us have ever let, and it could be like, hey, this is my ongoing struggle, have ever let our job or our career become so big that it's the thing that we worth-shape? Everything is dictated by our career. Sorry family, sorry kids, sorry person I'm dating, sorry health, sorry diet, nutrition, fitness, sorry worth shape. This is the thing. And if I have, success in my career, then I'm worth something. And it goes on and on and on. Like, how many of you have ever made a person the thing that you worth shape? They shape, your life is shaped. And sometimes you look back on that season a little bit later and you're so embarrassed, right? You're like, I totally worth-shaped a person. It was all about that person. How could I have been so thick in the moment? But you with clarity a little bit later, like, that's embarrassing. Or how many of us have allowed other goals in life to be, that's the thing that I give my worth shape? Our children, our GPA, our love for golf. It could be anything. Mine could be NFL football, as shallow as any of them, okay? Like, how much would I look back and regret as a husband, as a father, as a leader, as a spiritual mentor? Like, man, I let that be too big in my life. So here's the point is, let the worth of God shape you. That's what worship is. Let the worth of God shape you. Like, let the worth of God shape your schedule. Let the worth of God shape your finances and your service and your goals and your dreams. Like, let it be so big that you are shaping your life around God, around Jesus. It's the only thing that won't let you down. God is the only, your job, your career is never going to forgive you when you screw up. Jesus will forgive you. And so let your life be shaped around that. Your identity, who you date, your views on sex, your picture of what success in this lifetime looks like. Let that be shaped by God because he's worth that much. The shape of your marriage, the shape of your willingness to lead in the church, in the community, your personal value, your personal self-worth. Let it be shaped by God because he sent his one and only son to die for you. That's how much you're worth. And so you let your life be shaped by the worth of God. And you organize things around Jesus as the centerpiece of your life instead of organizing Jesus around other things. Jesus told this really, really short parable, which is just a story with a spiritual point. It's called the Pearl of Great Price, or the Parable of the Pearl. Matthew 13, Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven," which sounds confusing, and I won't get all into it, but the kingdom of heaven is synonymous with the kingdom of God, and that is anywhere that God is ruling as king. And so the kingdom of God is on earth, and so what he's talking about is the kingdom of God on earth. He said the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God on earth, it's like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. Okay, so the point of this parable simply is to be a part of God's kingdom, to have Jesus. It is worth so much. I will give up everything else and shape everything else around the worth of Jesus. It's the centerpiece. It's why we sing these songs, and it's why we live lifestyle worship, to say, God, how can I shape my life around you? Because in you, I find my worth.